Assassination of Jeannie Moreau. Jeez. Anyway, hello there. Oh, Miles, let's turn you down, Miles. We'll keep playing, but Miles, you gotta get a little quieter because I have to yell about this movie. Hello there, CriterioNate here, number 335. One I've been waiting for before I even knew what Criterion was. Louis Malle's Elevator to the Gallows, or Ascension pour le Chiffon, which I totally fucked up. Yeah. 1957, 92 minutes, black and white, Monroe, French, starring Jeannie Moreau as Florence, and what's his name? What's the dude's name? Oh, Maurice René as Julien DEWEY, and featuring Louis Malle's first film, and featuring the now, I guess, quote-unquote legendary score by one of my top 5 favorite artists of all time, Miles Davis. And because of Miles' score, I've heard the soundtrack a billion times, and I've never thought much of it because it was very repetitive, and I know that's how score music is. So for a long time, I didn't think much of it. These slow pieces don't really do much, They aren't as exciting as his the stuff he'd done for Columbia and Prestige and all that, his non-score music. It ranks right up there with this is kind of like the stuff he did with Gil Evans, all that orchestra stuff like Sketches of Spain and things like that. So yeah, so when I found out that this was in the Criterion Collection, I'm like, okay, now I'm really going to watch this. Let's turn you down even further, Miles, there. Background music. Not that you probably can't hear it anyway, but I'm going to let it play just for my own edification. So anyway, yeah, so the film, 1957, 92 minutes, black and white, French. I probably already said that. So that being said, I don't know how to feel about the movie. It's not bad, but at the same time, it's not one that I don't know if I'm actually even going to own. I don't know if I'm going to get this one. It's like I kind of was let down in a way. I didn't know what to expect. And if I had known that the majority of this film would just be Jeannie Moreau looking miserable throughout the whole film, staring at nothing and just walking around and looking weird. Who, by the way, Jeannie Moreau is not the most attractive actress, so it's just everybody obsesses over her, and it's one of those things about that, And we've seen her in a couple of movies like Jules and Jim and a couple others. Gosh, I can't remember the other movies. What else we've seen her in? Because I totally spaced out on a lot of movies that she had been in, and there's an interview with her on the second disc, and I'm now trying to figure out which movies. I mean, Elevator to the Gallows was the one that really pushed her over the edge. Oh yeah, she was in Touche Pas Grisby. Yeah, that was one. That's a great one. And 400 Blows. Oh yeah, she's in the 400 Blows. Yeah, and I guess she's in A Woman Is a Woman. I didn't even bother even to care. And La Notte, and so yeah, so she's in even ones we're gonna see like The Fire Within, and I guess she's in Diary of a Oh yeah, she's in Diary of a Chambermaid. Yeah, of course. That's well, who remembers that piece of crap? So Anyway. Yeah, look at all these movies she's been in. Look at all these movies. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, so Florence is this woman who is waiting for her boyfriend, Julien, to murder her husband. And they're going to run away. They work, I guess, Julien's... her husband is Julien's boss. And so Julien goes up and murders him and makes it look like... I guess he uses a rope, climbs up... He climbs up to his window and sneaks in and murders him and makes it look like sets up the scene to make it look like a suicide. So he's about to run away, and I guess Florence is meeting him somewhere. So Julian runs over to his car, and as he's about to leave, he notices that he left the rope hanging up from his thing. So he runs back inside the building, gets inside, gets in the elevator, and as it's going up, a guard turns off the power to the elevator. And so he's stuck. He's stuck in the elevator, and this is basically the whole movie of him, Julian, being stuck in the elevator, and you know, Florence being all miserable, you know, waiting for him, thinking that, you know, he stood her up, you know, not realizing that he was trapped in an elevator all this time, you know. But there's more, of course. This young couple, I forget their names. This young guy and his girlfriend end up stealing Julian's car, and running off and racing this German couple and taking photos with Julian's car, and they end up staying at this motel where the German couple is, and they talk politics, and the German man ends up realizing that the man that he's talking to is not, because he assumes his identity, Julian. He calls himself Julian Duyen when he isn't. So as they're about to leave, they realize the car won't start, and it turns out the German man took the gearbox from the car, and so the young man whose name I need to learn, I need to figure out his name. Hang tight here. I want to figure out his name because I want to know what it is. I keep calling him the young man, or let's see, Louis and Veronique. Yeah, Veronique. Louis. So Louis kills the German man whose name is, does it say whose their name is? Horst Benker. Oh, the Benker. Kills he and his wife, and they escape, and because they find and they escape, but I guess the police, you know, tail him, and they realize it was they tail the car, and they found it was Julien Duvenet, and so he's charged with murder of killing the Benkers. And meanwhile, while all this is happening, of course, Julian is still trapped in the elevator. So eventually he does get out, and but when he gets out, he finds out that he's a wanted man. He goes to the cafe, I guess, that he was planning on meeting Florence at. Everybody knows that he quote-unquote did it. You know, they call for the police. He sits down and waits, and he reads a paper, and he finds out that, you know, he was charged with murder. He's arrested. You know, the police grill him. Meanwhile, Florence finds out and ends up finding the car, and, you know, trying to clear his name. She ends up finding Louis and Veronique, and I guess Louis realizes that he left the camera at the motel, and it has photos of them, you know, in his car, in Julien's car, and so he ends up, you know, so Florence follows Louis out to the hotel, and ends up finding the camera, and Florence takes the camera to the police to get the photos developed, and of course we see that Louis and Veronique are arrested for the murder of the Benekers. The only problem is, on the same roll are photos of Florence and Julien, more or less convicting them of the murders of Florence's husband. Cavier, what's his name? Mr. Simon Caralla. So both of them go to jail. So everybody goes to jail. So anyway, Louis Malle, I mean, obviously we've seen some decent, we've seen a decent movie, Au revoir les enfants, and then La Combe Lucienne, which is, and then Murmur of the Heart, which is, where does this rank? Thanks to I don't think this movie would get half the rating it's going to get if it had not been for Miles' soundtrack. I'm not giving this an A because I thought Gina Moreau was just boring to look at. And everybody's like, oh my god, she's so amazing, oh my god, this is so cool, but it just doesn't, I'm just not a fan. I still think, you know, and even seeing this, I thought, oh gosh, this is going to be the one that takes me over the edge with Mile, but no, I still think Au revoir les enfants is his masterpiece, as I'm sure Megan does too. So, again, the soundtrack is fantastic. I listen to it now. I call it fantastic, but honestly, it's still, I don't know. There are pieces on the soundtrack that are fantastic. But sorry, I'm kind of listening and trying to form an opinion at the same time. The soundtrack only, I don't know, it helps, but it also harms the movie, if that makes any sense. Again, Louis Malle tells a great story. It is difficult to see, it's difficult to realize that this is the same director who eventually would direct, Murmur of the Heart, La Combe Lucienne, and Au revoir les enfants. It's hard to see. I'd like to see his other movies, and we'll see quite a few of his coming up in the next few seasons. We still got The Lovers, The Fire Within, Black Moon, Vanya on 42nd Street, Dans la Metro, whose name I can't remember, and of course My Dinner with Andre. So we've got plenty more movies coming up from Malle. So hopefully we'll get a little more of his stuff coming in. I think even that's not Malle. That was my favorite, Cafe, which I don't know if it's in the soundtrack. I don't remember hearing this. And this is one of the few pieces I really liked from the soundtrack. If I think this, and I don't remember what the name of the other piece was that I liked. But yeah. So anyway, so I'm giving this a B+. I wanted to give it an A so badly because Miles, and even Malle, but Gina Moreau really brings the movie down. And that's just my own opinion. And I'm going to get all the down views beat for saying that, but I'm just not a fan of her acting, I just don't think she's an interesting actress, so there you go. Fight me, I guess. That's the tagline of this season, fight me. Anyway, so yeah, for Malle's first film, it's not bad. Again, and he just thank the Lord he found Miles, or Miles found him, either way. So, yeah, B+. Trailers. Disc 1 is trailers. Disc 2 has the original trailer and the crappy Rialto trailer, So anyway, and then Disc 2 has all the supplements. There's an interview with Malle from 1974 where he talks about, his early career. It was around the time of him doing Black Moon, and so he talks about Black Moon, but he also talks about Elevator to the Gallows. There's a new interview with Gina Moreau, and she did not age well. Is she still alive? I want to find out if she's still alive. I wonder. I very, very much wonder. Let's see. No, not Louis Malle. I don't want to look up Louis Malle. I want to look up. I know Louis Malle passed away. Oh, she's still alive. She's 88 years old. Good for her. Hang on. So anyway, but still, she ain't aged well. There's an archival footage interview with Maurice Ronet, who played Julien. What else? There's that. And then there's a whole section dedicated to Miles, the soundtrack. There's some footage of Miles playing along to the scenes, like recreating the soundtrack. What it was like, if I buy it, it's for that. And there's a short little interspliced with an interview with Louis Malle, talking about working with Miles. There's an interview with René Autrege, who was the pianist for the sessions. And there's a little documentary about Miles featuring John Faddis, who's a jazz trumpeter, and everybody's favorite jazz critic, Gary Giddens, who I have reservations about him because he's all over that infamous jazz documentary that Ken Burns did, which I have a lot more reservations about too. And the final thing is there's a student film that Mal did called Crazyology, which features a song that Charlie Parker did. So, you can tell Mal had a love for jazz. I mean, we knew Mal had a love for jazz because of Charlie Parker, using Charlie Parker in Murmur of the Heart. So, yeah, so there's that. And yeah, so anyway, Elevator to the Gallows, not the movie I thought it was going to be. B+, so be it. I still love you, Miles. So anyway, that's it for today. Happy Thanksgiving. I am grateful for all the good movies and even the crappy ones because I get to say whatever I want to be, and I'm thankful for and I'm grateful for the subscribers that have stayed on even after I've called Salo a piece of crap, even after I've called Picnic at Hanging Rock a piece of crap, even after I've called Viridiana, Phantom of Liberty, even after I've called Hiroshima Mon Amour a piece of crap. I'm thankful for all you guys. So, how about that? So anyway, eat some turkey today. Watch a good Criterion movie. I think Filmstruck has a playlist of food like playlist of movies. So check that out. And I almost started watching. I almost watched Elevator to the Gallows on Filmstruck today because I couldn't get to my DVD player at the time. But yeah. So anyway, so. That's it. They're there. We'll get to Filmstruck on Monday. So tomorrow, Dazed and Confused. Oh boy! All right. And that'll be. Expect to hear that about 400 times throughout tomorrow's review. So anyway, Dazed and Confused tomorrow. Sunday, A New Amor. Monday, Equinox. Tuesday, Yee. And then Wednesday, Coco Talking Gorilla. Then Thursday, Canterbury Tale. Next Thursday, Canterbury Tale. And then the week after that, 6 Moral Tales. And then we got, I think, Kicking and Screaming, Seduced and Abandoned, and some other movies. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Is Miles still playing? Go check out Miles because he's amazing. It's just the bass and drum thing. So you can't hear bass on this thing to save your life unless I turn it down a little, or maybe you can hear it a little better. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Don't kill people. Don't leave your camera in your car. Don't take the rolls out of your cameras. Delete all your photos. Get all your cameras. Delete all the negatives. And don't steal cars. And I know there's another one. Don't turn off elevators when people are trapped in them. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for Dazed and Confused. And until then, good night. Or goodbye. Good night because it's Miles. Yeah, I'll fade out Miles here. There, just make it moodier. And until then, goodbye.